Now, it's Child Protection Week. In fact, that week started yesterday, the 28th of May. Shocking statistics reveal that South Africa's rate of child murder is double the global average. Now, 1 in 5 children reported they've been hit, kicked or beaten by an adult. According to United for Global Mental Health worldwide, 10 to 20% of children and adolescents experience mental health disorders. Looks like it's all related to the abuse that they suffer. Now, to unpack these numbers and tell us really about how we can address this issue that doesn't seem to be going away, we're joined in the studio by the South African Federation for Mental Health project leader, Nicole Breen. Ms. Breen, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Each time, every year, we mark the Child Protection Week in South Africa, the statistics don't seem to be improving. It looks like we're stuck. It looks like we're not able as a society to really treat our children with the dignity, love and care and respect that they deserve.
Yes, it's shocking and incredibly disappointing. This is particularly so because South Africa has a very comprehensive legal matrix which should create a protective shield for children. You know, there's the Constitution, Child Justice Act, Children's Act, National Plan of Action for Children, you know, and it's incredibly disappointing that these pieces of legislation don't appear to be implemented.
On paper, we're looking good. We've got the right legislation, therefore the policies are right. Therefore, we're failing in implementation.
Yes, you know, on the ground, very little is changing. You know, you do have NGOs and activists that are working tirelessly to try and ameliorate the plight of children, but still many are falling through the cracks.
Now, we find that from the work that you are doing as a Federation for Mental Health, there's a link between the abuse that children suffer when they're very young and as they grow up and how they begin to face challenges like fear, anxiety and other disorders.
Yes, you know, you have two scenarios. You have the instance where a child already has a disability and then they are 4 times more likely to be abused. And then you have this scenario where children develop mental health conditions as a consequence of the abuse that they have suffered.
So disabled children are nearly 4 times likely to be abused by the people who are supposed to protect them than normal children, so to speak.
Yes, that's true. This demographic is extremely at risk. And such children lack a little bit of, you know, agency in comparison to their able-bodied age counterparts. And, you know, are not necessarily in a position to speak out against the abuse that they are suffering.
Yeah. What are you finding are the blockages here? Where is it happening? Yesterday here on Morning News Today, I interviewed another activist in the space, but from Human Rights Watch, who've been looking at how South Africa up to now and has been treating disabled children in terms of their education and how we are shortchanging our disabled children as far as education is concerned. Now we're talking about abuse. I mean, why are we not able to really look after our children? Where are the blockages?
Well, there's a lack of trained professionals such as social workers, for one. There's also the fact that children's rights simply aren't adequately prioritized, and that there's a large degree of, you know, ignorance on the part of society as to how children should be treated.
So you've got 2 elements here from what you're saying. You've got society on the one hand, which is you and me and us as parents and everybody else, and you've got government. So what should each of them do? Let's start with society. What's your view as an organization that works with the mental health issues of children? What should society do?
Society should aim to become educated about what children need and what children are entitled to. You know, in the absence of education, you can't expect people to be doing the right thing. Also, you know, on the part of governments, government must play its part in providing this education, must engage in activism, and must, you know, adequately prioritize children when it comes to things like budgeting.
So it's resourcing, and that will include how we respond, how police, for example, would respond, or when there's a case that is being reported of child abuse.
Correct.
So those issues are very important. Now, as we mark yet another Child Protection Week for your organization, what would your message be, overriding message, if somebody's watching and said, listen, we know something is happening in our neighborhood, for example, or we're worried, or I need to change my ways?
Well, the message that we would like to send is that mental health in a society is paramount. And during a person's formative years, where mental health conditions most likely emerge, such individuals are suffering from compounded vulnerability. And we need to take steps to protect our children and to ensure that they do not fall victim to poor mental health, either as a consequence of a predisposed condition that is exacerbated by the effects of child abuse, or to have a condition emerge on account of the child abuse.
Okay, so we need to create a loving and nurturing environment. Thank you very much, Ms.
Thank
Breen
you.
there. South African Federation for Mental Health Project Leader, Nicole Breen.